Today, we're diving into the final days of the legendary singer Aaliyah, a talented artist whose life was tragically cut short. Let's take a closer look at what happened in her last days alive. Aaliyah Dana Houghton was a rising star with a career that skyrocketed in the late 1990s and early 2000s. Known for her smooth voice and groundbreaking style, she was often called the Princess of R&B. But her life took a tragic turn on August 25th, 2001.
And then we gotta know what the next video is, and I hope you're saying it's a song I love.
Yes, it is. It's Rock the Boat.
Yes!
It's Rock the Boat.
Yeah! Now when can we expect that?
I shoot the video tomorrow, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
And that video should be out, and we're hoping like beginning of September.
I can't wait.
We're actually doing singles back to back. We're doing Rock the Boat first, then we're dropping More Than a Woman. So
Okay.
we got them coming back to back.
The music video was a major event. Rock the Boat was directed by Hype Williams, who had a huge name in the industry. It involved this huge production in the Bahamas. Nearly 60 people were going to be on set with Aaliyah. In fact, filmed several dance sequences on a green screen and underwater shots in Miami in preparation for it on August 22nd. Then she joined the rest of the crew in the Bahamas on August 23rd. She was scheduled to leave the Bahamas on August 26th, but actually finished filming early and decided to head back a night before. So on August 25th, about 6:50 p.m., Aaliyah and 7 other people, her entourage, a makeup artist, some staff, other people working with her, and friends on the music video shoot, board a twin-engine Cessna 402B at the Marsh Harbor Airport on the Abaco Islands in the Bahamas. A little bit about this plane, the 402B Cessna. It's a relatively small plane. It fits about 7 or 8 people. The pilot recommended that only 7 people fly total. Aaliyah happened to have 8 in her party. The flight, it's about a 3-hour flight from the Abaco Islands to Ovalaka, Florida, where she was flying to. The plane was piloted by Luis Morales, who had apparently expressed some concern about the total weight load of the plane. It was certified for 7 passengers, but there were 8 for this flight, and there was also some heavy equipment and luggage on board. Aaliyah was a nervous flyer, and she was immediately sort of put off by this. The flight was scheduled to take off earlier in the night, but it was about 3.5 hours late to arrive at the Abaco Islands, which, if you're a nervous flyer, already adds to your anxiety, and you see this tiny plane. She decides that she's going to actually get off the plane and go sit in the car for a while. And there, a little bit of dispute and controversy on what exactly happened next. We know that she took some sort of relaxant of some kind, which many people do, to take the edge off a little bit. There are reports that she was in fact calmed and sedated. There are some talk that she was actually carried back onto the plane. We're not exactly sure what state she was in, but at some point the 7 passengers and the pilot, Luis Morales, get back on the plane and begin the process of taking off. Shortly after takeoff, literally 200 feet from the runway, the plane nosedives and crashes, killing nearly instantly 7 of the passengers and the pilot. The only survivor in the immediate aftermath of the crash was a man named Scott Gallen. Scott Gallen was Aaliyah's security guard. Paramedics are rushing to the scene, and he spends his last moments asking about Aaliyah's condition. She was just 22 years old when she passed away. Now, the witnesses from the scene said that the plane had only actually lifted off the ground about 60 to 100 feet before nosedives and crashes. So this is not a mid-air flight and not over the water. This is directly into a marsh. Someone who described the scene said it was absolutely devastating. The aircraft was broken into pieces and some of the seats were thrown from the aircraft. This plane was overloaded and the pilot got a lot of criticism. He should have been more forceful in his insistence that they not take off with this many people, and it clearly is overweight. The weight of this plane is clearly what brings it down. Aaliyah was a star struck down at the height of her career. 800 mourners attended her funeral on August 31st. There was a slew of celebrities at her funeral. There was an outpouring of love for this young star who was just taken from us. Her funeral had 22 white doves released, symbolizing each year of her young life. Her body was set in a silver-plated casket and carried off in a horse-drawn class hearse. So, in the immediate aftermath of a crash like this, you're going to have some investigations. And because the crash took place in the Bahamas, The first investigation is done by the coroner's office. They ordered an immediate inquest to determine the precise causes of death. So they're focused on how did the people on the plane actually die rather than the nature of the crash itself. So the report that comes out says Aaliyah suffered, quote, severe burns and a blow to the head. The other victims, including the security guard, who we mentioned, the hairdresser and the pilot, were taken to the morgue in Nassau, Bahamas, where the bodies remained until relatives could make positive identifications. The second aspect of this investigation is done by the Civil Aviation Department. It conducts a thorough investigation into the causes of the crash itself. It was determined that in addition to having one or more passengers than the plane was certified to carry, the aircraft exceeded its weight limit by more than 900 pounds. The pilot, Luis Morales, falsely obtained his FAA license by showing logs for hundreds of hours of flight time that he'd never flown. Morales had only received his pilot's license in February 2000, about a year and a half before the crash. The U.S. aviation officials said the FAA record showed Morales' name was not even on the authorization papers, so things started to snowball and get worse as they peeled back the layers. The toxicology reports reveals Luis Morales had traces of cocaine and alcohol in his system. Just a few weeks before the crash, he'd actually been booked on a felony cocaine possession charge. So in May of 2002, Aaliyah's parents, Diana and Michael Houghton, file a civil suit against Virgin Records, alleging that the record company was responsible for all the arrangements in the Bahamas. Second, they claim Morales was not properly qualified to operate their aircraft, and so they also went after Black Hawk for improperly assigning him to the flight. Now, the lawsuits ultimately settle as these things usually do. Brian Panish represented two of the other families involved in the crash, family members of other people who were killed in the crash, and they publicly criticized Virgin Records as well for putting profits over people.
To the world and to her fans, Aaliyah was known as Aaliyah, but to us, her extended family was known as Baby Girl. And I think that what we got to learn out of this is to appreciate each other while we're here on earth and never take for granted that someone will be here tomorrow.
Aaliyah was a talented artist reaching new heights, but her story was tragically cut short. Today, she's remembered for her exceptional talent and the legacy she left behind. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Stay tuned for more stories about iconic artists.